Hi, and welcome to the Twinbeard Business Show. From tactics to mindset, here is where you will see the faces and personalities behind the business. My first guest is a freelance filmmaker. He's worked on a range of projects, from short films to music videos, comedy skits, and everything in between. He's quickly become the go-to sound guy for production companies all across the state. And he's an all-round great guy. So please, help me in welcoming the inaugural guest to the Twinbeard Business Show, Sebastian Correa.
Yes, man.
Thanks for coming on the show, Seb.
Hey, man, no worries. Thanks for having me.
I've got a lot we want to cover in a short period of time, so we'll get into that. But before we go too deep, for those watching that maybe don't know you or the work that you do, tell us a bit about yourself and I guess the work that you do.
Yeah, man. So, as you said, I'm a freelance filmmaker based in Melbourne, Victoria. And yeah, I just basically tell stories in a visual field. That's basically the job title.
Very nice. I wanted to ask Seb, we've obviously known each other for a while off camera.
Definitely.
Have you always been in the creative field? I know you do a lot of work now in a range of areas of production, but have you always been a creative person as a child?
Oh, definitely. I think every child just picks up a bunch of textures and just draws and just scribbles and stuff. And yeah, I used to draw and scribble and make stories and stuff. I'd always play with toys with my friends and just make up stories and just everything I was doing always had a story behind it. And
okay.
Yeah, I've just grown up with that.
You feel like that's translated into
Definitely.
some of the projects that you work on now?
Definitely.
Do you find that, and I've always wanted to ask you this, do you find that you consciously do things that continue to, I guess, spark the fire of creativity that you already have? Are you consciously aware of doing things that are going to light your soul on fire or keep you excited about life? Or is that something that just comes naturally?
I think it really just comes naturally. I'm just naturally sort of a creative person, always putting myself out there. People say I have a big personality.
Yes.
And I think it's just because I don't really take myself too seriously.
Okay.
And that's the main thing.
So how important is that? So for those watching at home that maybe where they're trying to get a business off the ground or they're trying to move forward and take that next step in life, which are serious, they're serious things to consider, right? But it's easy to get stuck mentally. So talk to us a bit about that, because I think that's a huge part of your personality is not taking yourself too seriously, looking to have a laugh, have fun.
Yeah.
How important is that to be a part of your life and the way you go about it?
Yeah, it's the biggest part of life, especially as you're trying to start a business on your young and trying to start a business. It's the first thing to take a focus on, because if you take yourself too seriously, you become too self-critical.
Yes.
And if you become too self-critical, you become your biggest critic, and you're the first person that'll stop you from just pushing yourself forward.
Absolutely.
So if you take off that pressure from yourself and just move forward, you're already moving forward.
Yeah.
I keep saying move forward, but that's the main thing.
But that's the goal, right?
Just keep moving forward.
That's the goal, is to
Definitely.
move forward. More success, more happiness, more fulfillment, which we'll dive into a little bit more later. But tell us a bit about how you got into the field of production. So I've touched on the audio sound recording work that you do. I know you've done some directing. You've been behind the camera, which again we'll go into. But how did you first get into production?
Yeah, so year 12, just picked up a camera and shot something for my media, of course, and I was like, oh, I really like filmmaking. I used to do music and tell stories in that medium, and it was just I'd sort of fallen out of love with it, and I was like, I don't see this as a viable career option. But then once I picked up a camera and started telling visual stories, I was like, this is great.
This is the juice.
This is and it fueled me in a different way than music ever did.
Okay.
And I wasn't doing it for other people's just like their opinions and what I cared about, what they thought. I was doing it because I wanted to do it.
Okay.
And that was the main point of me going forward.
Can we touch on that just for a minute? Because from what I'm hearing there is you had a passion, the music, and you spent some time in there, you went deep, and then just chance, circumstance, decision making, whatever you want to call it, that kind of moved into production.
Yeah.
Right? How important is it to pivot when you need to and just realize, okay, this is now what I'm interested in, and that's okay. Let me go deep on that because it's fueling me.
Yeah.
Would you say that's crucial?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the most crucial bit because just touching on what you said, some people have that passion or that earn to do something, and they lose it and they start doing something else. If you can take the passion that you had for one thing and move it over to another thing, you're golden.
Yes.
Because that's what I did with film.
Yes.
I had a passion for music. I lost the passion, but I still kept a little bit of a fire burning.
Yes.
Took it to film and it wildfire. It just went.
So let's talk about your coming of age in the production industry, I guess. So I want to know how you got started. So tell these guys, I guess, that first step, because there'd be people again at home that want to take the next step. They want to take a step.
Yeah.
They're in their bedroom. They're drawing up ideas, thinking of plans, whether it's business or something else. But they're stuck, and they're not moving forward. They're not getting out of their comfort zone, which I know you're really passionate about. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But where do they start? So I often find storytelling is the best place to relay a message. So tell us a bit about your story. What was that first project you worked on? How did you get into it? And then maybe move into how we got to know each other, because I think that's a fantastic story for these guys to hear.
Yeah, well, like you said, like people not being able to go out and actually put themselves out there. That was me. That was me a year ago.
Okay.
And I knew that I had a talent for this. I knew I liked doing film, but I just didn't tell anybody. I stayed in my room and I looked at projects that I'd done in the past, and I was like, yeah, man, I did really good projects a year ago, but I did nothing for a year. And I was just like, yeah, no, I did really good last year. And then, like, just in September last year, I had the opportunity to shoot a live gig for a band.
Okay.
Because someone else who was going to shoot it couldn't make it. So I came in as like a fill-in. And just having that chance, like, I was pushed into that opportunity. Like, I didn't want to take it, but I got pushed into it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, no, I'm actually good at this. Like,
yes.
I've studied this, I've learned this, I love this. And that gave me a whole new confidence. So actually getting out there and doing something gave me the confidence to keep going forward with it. And I can say, like, in the past year,
yep.
I've worked on over 50 projects.
Wow.
Just because I've been able to put myself out there and go, hey, man, you need someone to work on that?
Yep.
I'll help you out. What's up?
From taking that one opportunity.
Just from taking that one opportunity and just running with it.
Yeah. And then we connected 6-7 months ago.
Definitely.
I can't recall, but I'm obviously amazingly grateful that we did, because we've done some good projects together, and you know, we're not here to talk about that, but tell these guys how we connected, because I think it's a credit to yourself and a really good insight into how do you move towards your goals by getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, so basically I was on one of the many Melbourne Facebook groups for filmmaking, and I was just trudging through looking for jobs and stuff, and I saw Liam post looking for crew members, and I was like, man, he's putting a lot of effort into his post. I'll check what he does. And it's like a lot of marketing videos and skits and stuff. It was just something that really interested me, and then I just emailed him. It was simple as just sending an email at 3 a.m. going, hey man, see what you do.
Yep.
Here's what I do. Let's link up. What's up?
And let's move in that direction, because networking is something we were talking about off camera.
Yeah.
And with our film crew as well.
Yeah.
And shout out to Corey, who might be on the show next week. We'll see. But networking's massive, right? And sometimes it does take getting out of your comfort zone, because not everyone's blessed with a huge personality.
Definitely.
Okay, a little bit more reserved.
Yeah.
But they could be just as good, if not better, at what they do.
Yeah.
Whether it's sound, whether it's film, whatever it is. Okay. So networking's massive. That first email to myself opens up a door to then, how many projects have we done together now? 10, 15, 20, whatever it is. And then opening up other doors to meet other people and opening up other projects to work on. But it all starts with just taking that first step.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Sending that first email, putting yourself out there. And what I want to highlight, guys, is you're here to solve a problem. So if you've got a business that you're trying to get off the ground, or you're in business and you're stuck and you're stagnant and wondering, how do I move forward? Again, we're talking about this off camera. Often it comes down to just remembering, hey, what problem am I solving for these people?
Yeah.
Right? What service am I offering? What help am I providing? And the reality is, you're putting yourself out there for yourself, right? Because you want to grow your business.
Yeah.
You want to start getting some projects under your belt. But the reality is, Seb, you solved a huge problem for us, because we had some projects that we're working on, and the audio, this is what I want to talk about next, it wasn't up to scratch. Right? It was noticeable. It was making our projects look less professional. You reach out, you solve that problem. You win, you get to meet people, you work on some projects, our problem's solved.
Yeah.
So did you find that at the time that, hey, I'm going to reach out because I can actually help these guys?
Yeah.
And how important is it to remember that, to have the passion and the excitement to, I guess, to move forward?
That was the main thing. Like, I watched some of the content. I never told you that. I did watch some of the content, and I was like, all right, cool. I can do better than this.
Yeah.
And I hit you up. I was just like, hey, man, you need some help?
Absolutely.
And it's just like just putting myself out there and just going like, hey, I may be able to help solve an issue that you guys have. I have a talent. I'd like to use it. I have the equipment.
Yes.
Why let it just like gather dust? Let's do something.
Let's get to work. And it's been a huge help for us. So let's talk about audio. Okay. Because there'll be people out there that maybe want to make content, whether it's comedy, whether it's they want to be an influencer, they maybe just want to make content to promote their business, or they maybe are a production company and want to turn into an agency similar to what we're doing. In the world that we're living in with social media, the internet at its height, making content is key, right? So audio, though, can be a variable that can make or break a project, as we've just spoken about. So for people watching, where do they start? Because I remember thinking, I don't know what to do to make this sound better. They can spend a lot of money on equipment, of course. But for those that maybe don't have that capital right now, what are some of your best tips on how to negate some, or I guess what are some of the variables that can come into play on a shoot, and how can they negate them?
Well, that's the thing. If you spend too much time focusing on what you can't control, so I don't have the right microphone, I don't have the right recorder, I'm stuck without a boom operator, you're gonna just be stagnant. If you're focusing too much on the negative, you're not gonna be moving forward. So always focus on the stuff that you can control. It's like, oh, we're shooting in a kitchen, let's turn off that fridge. We're shooting in a garage, just make sure there's proper carpeting on the floor so sound isn't bouncing everywhere. If we're outside, put it at least if you use whatever you use, make sure that it's covered. So you're covered from the wind. And just taking control of those variables that you can control is the main thing to do, especially when you don't have the funds to go, I'm gonna buy this $3,000 microphone and this field recorder that's gonna go, it's gonna sit on me and we're gonna be fine. Just control those variables, and that's the main thing you can do, especially if you're working on a budget.
I hope you guys are taking notes, because they're huge. Some of these little things, and you probably noticed, not super costly. Not some of those you mentioned anyway. It's a good place to start, improve your audio, make a huge difference.
That's the thing. Even everything I said, you don't need money for that. It's just common sense.
Absolutely.
It's like shooting in a fridge.
But
not shooting in a fridge, that'd be awkward. Shooting in the kitchen, turn off the fridge. Close your windows. Make sure you're not shooting right next to a freeway, because you're going to get cars.
Logical stuff.
Just taking care of your work.
Absolutely. Put in the effort, make it as good as possible, and you'll be surprised at the results. Let's not negate, though, the work that you do, right? You have the equipment, you have the boom, you have all the cool stuff. I'd be lying if I said I know what they're all called, but they look fantastic on set. Okay?
No, cool.
So you've been a massive help for us. What are some of the other projects that you've worked on in the past? And I'd love to know, is there a special type of or a field of production that you personally enjoy most? And is there a favourite project that you've had, let's say, of those 50 that you've worked on in the last year or so?
Well, like you said earlier, I'm not just a sound recordist, I'm also a freelance filmmaker. And so I've been able to work as a director. I've directed a short film earlier this year. I directed a music video earlier this year for an artist from Kenya. And just working on those multitude of projects, it's always been good. So you asked me what my favourite project is, I can't really answer that. My favourite project is the last project I worked on. So my last one I worked on as a camera operator for a music video for a Nigerian artist. Right now, that's my favourite project. When I leave here today, this will probably be my favourite project.
Fantastic.
Just because it's the most recent thing. And I always think that each project I'm doing, I'm always moving forward. So I've got to the most recent one that I've done.
I love it.
It's better than the one I did 6 months ago.
I love that, Seb. And so moving forward, what's the grand plan? Because this is something I want to touch on a little bit that I think is relatable for almost everyone watching. How important is it to have a grand plan? And what's yours? What does the world look like for Sebastian Correa in 5, 10, 15 years' time? What kind of work are you doing? And how much do you tap into that vision to keep you inspired daily?
Well, that's the thing. Everyone needs a goal. We all need to have that end path where we're going, or else we're just moving aimlessly. So my end goal is to become a music video director and direct music videos overseas. I would like to move to, say, Canada. Vancouver specifically. It's going to be cold, but hey, I'll rock up. I'll live through it. But that's the ultimate goal, to move out of the country and actually work with international artists. And I know that's not going to happen in the next year, not even the next 5 years. But it's always the ultimate goal. So every project that I work on, whether it be sound recording, editing, camera operating, I know that I'm always moving towards that specific goal. So if I keep growing, that's ultimately
building that portfolio. Every project is a step forward in that direction.
That's the way.
Absolutely.
And just growing the skill set. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. Now, we've kind of touched on it, but networking. So how important is that for people to start out moving their business, their life, their whatever it is, to advance it in a positive direction? How handy is it to know the right people, and how do you go about it?
It's the most important thing, specifically in filmmaking. It's the most important thing because it's who you know.
Yes.
And you want to know people that are good at what they do and have the same drive as you.
Yes.
So when I hit you up on that email, I was like, I feel that this guy has the same mindset as me.
Yes.
He wants to keep working and he wants to keep going and he wants to grow.
Yes.
6 months later, I was right.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Yes.
I've hit up people on Instagram, like that Nigerian music video. I just hit up the director on Instagram.
Yes.
I was like, hey man, some guys from work told me who you are. I really like your content. Here's what I've done. And he was like, dude, I really like what you do too. I have a music video coming up. Come through. And we did it, and it's come out great. It looks great, and that just started as like an inbox on Instagram.
Fantastic.
And if I hadn't taken a chance and networked,
yes,
I wouldn't have worked on a music video last week.
And there's the difference, right?
Exactly.
There's the difference. Seb, we'll have to wrap up. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Before we do, though, tell these guys where they can find you, because I imagine there's some people that need more tips or a go-to guy on their projects as well. So where can they find you online?
Yeah, man. So I'm actually a vlogger as well. So you can check out my vlogs on my YouTube channel. The easiest way to get there is to follow me on my Twitter or my Instagram. That's @SebCLAT. And yeah, just hit me up. If you want me to work on a project with you, DM me. If you need some tips, DM me. My DMs are open.
Fantastic. Well, Seb, again, mate, I really appreciate you coming on the show. You're a great guy. The work you do is fantastic. And I really hope that more people can get to know you through this program.
Definitely.
Guys, you need to connect with this guy. If you're making any sort of videos, podcasts, if you're in the production space, if you're filmmaking, if you're making music videos, this is your guy. Slide into his DMs, get creative, start working on projects together and make some magic. I really appreciate you tuning in. Again, this was the inaugural episode of the Twinbeard Business Show. It's designed to bring value. Aspiring entrepreneurs, people already in business. I really hope that you've gained something from some of the tips that we've spoken about and can apply it into your business or your life tomorrow. Until next time, stay busy and we'll see you then.